Fired for one mistake. That was my wake-up call. A lot of wake-up calls in today's stream. I love it. Howdy, Fi guys. I'm writing this because I am at a crossroads of destiny, and I could really use some perspective from people who've actually walked a different path. I just got fired from my warehouse job after a company failed an audit. I accidentally dropped a pallet during that same week, and they let me go. Honestly, I wasn't even surprised or upset. It just confirmed something I've been feeling for a long time. Jobs like this don't care about you. You're just a number. I'm 21 years old, and this experience has made me realize how broken the traditional system feels. You work hard to build someone else's dream while barely getting paid enough to survive. One mistake, or even just bad timing, you're out. No questions asked. It feels like your entire life is built around a job that doesn't care about what you make or not. What bothers me most is how normal this has become. Most people just accept it, waking up early, clocking in, trading their time, their energy for barely enough to get by. It seems like we've all agreed to giving up control of our time and living our lives. And I don't know why more people aren't questioning it. What I really want to do is build something for myself. I've been dreaming about starting a business in the automotive world, maybe a shop, maybe a custom work, maybe, but I just don't have any clue how to get there. We've both been there.
Yeah, we have been there. I'm still there.
Yeah, right. Sometimes you got to go back to square one, right? As an entrepreneur, you're always at square one. You're just always at square one trying to figure stuff out. I know it takes money to make that leap, and I'm stuck trying to figure out how others make it work. How do I take that first step? How do I make the sacrifices to move forward when I feel broke and unsure of what to do next? I'm not afraid of hard work. I just want to count on something that's mine. Right now, I feel like a mixture of frustration, ambition, and honestly, a bit of fear. Always. That's like the entrepreneurial starter pack right there.
Yeah. Bet.
I'm motivated to build a better life. That's my man. I love it. But I could really use some guidance from people who've been doing this themselves. Thanks for taking the time to read this. Any advice would mean a lot. From fired from the grind, now I'm chasing what's mine. I love it. He's in a beautiful spot indeed. You're already consuming the right stuff. So that's pretty great. That's really great. At least you have a solid outlet. Chris, what do you have for him?
Speaking of that, the consuming, I've noticed that when I look at our demographics of people that listen, we typically are hitting like millennial ages, late 20s to early 30 or like mid 30s, late 30s. What I'm finding is a lot of people that are writing in are the younger generation, the people that are young 20s. So keep it up, guys. And to our older generation, please write in. Let us know what's going on in your life. We'd love to hear from you guys. But I really just want to commend the younger generation for having the gall, the balls, the cojones to write into a podcast to actually get help. I think that's pretty damn cool. It makes me very hopeful for the younger generation, their ability to succeed because they have the ability to not be afraid to ask. So
I agree.
With that being said, first off, I just wanted to acknowledge our reader. You're not crazy in any way for feeling this way. The system is designed to keep people trading time for survival, for their pay. That's the way that it's kind of all meant to be. And it's okay to feel at 21 years old. I would say that many successful entrepreneurs at 21 years old are frustrated and have no clear path. That's normal when you're at the beginning. That's because you are at the beginning of the stages. Of course, you don't know which way to go. You have every possibility in front of you. And I want to commend you for only being 21 years old and already being ahead. Most people don't question the system until it's much later, if they ever question it at all. The fact that you're able to see through the matrix at this age is extremely powerful. It means that you have, most likely, a lot of success in front of you. But that means that you're the one that has to do it. You're the one that has to walk through that. You're the one that needs to shift your mindset to be able to move forward. With talking about shifting your mindset, something that I want to make sure that I preface, not just only for you, but for all of our listeners, is that jobs aren't the enemy. Dependency on the job is the enemy. The job is nothing more than a tool. It's not your identity. It's not who you are. It's not what makes you you. You need to learn to use your job strategically while building something for yourself if that's what you want to do. I don't want you to confuse where you currently are being stuck with being at the start of something. You're not behind. You're beginning a new chapter, and those two things are completely different. You're not behind at all. You're 21 years old. Like, I don't know who you're comparing yourself to, but you're only 21 years old. Of course, you have a lot of things to do. One thing that you said, or do you have any things to say, Dominic?
No, I think you're hitting good points. I think you're hitting great points, right? It's all the typical stuff, right? Never compare yourself to anyone else. Try and, find your own path. Sometimes you have to rely on your gut, and you're going to have to fall flat on your own face. And that's sometimes the best thing that can happen. A lot of people are going to want to help you, and they have the best intentions, but sometimes their information is very flawed, right? Very, very flawed. They come from a place of fear, oftentimes, right? If your parents, I know a lot of parents, right? When a child wants to go into entrepreneurship, I want to start this business. This is it. Well, that's great. Well, just once you get a stable job and do that on the weekends or something, right? They're fearful for them, right? They don't see a path forward. But maybe you're someone who's blessed. Maybe you're someone who's blessed who can see further. Muhammad Ali, when I think he was fighting Joe Frazier, everyone was like, don't fight, or I think it was George Foreman. They're like, don't fight. He's going to kill you. Please, don't fight him. Don't fight him. And he goes, guys, calm down. You're seeing it at this level, 1,000 feet up, right? But I can see it 40,000 feet up. I see further. I know I can beat him, right? So maybe you're that entrepreneur. Maybe you can see further than your parents, right? Or the people in your circle. So trust your gut. And as an entrepreneur, you're going to have to trust your gut. You're going to have to really get good at trusting your own instincts, right? Because if you fail, it's on you. If you succeed, it's on you, right? So I'm going to pass it back to you, but that's kind of my current little tidbit of information. And I got more coming right after your next segment.
Cool. And I'll if you have anything, please let me know.
Yeah.
One thing that you mentioned to our podcast, to our listener, is that they said that money is a barrier. Money is the barrier to where they want to be right now. And I'm going to say that's only half true. The resources you have in life matter. The money matters. But your skills, your relationships, your initiative to open more doors are much larger than cash alone. So I think when you say, oh, I can't do any of these things right now because I don't have the money, that's only half the problem. Do you have the skills? Do you have the relationships? Do you have the initiative? I think we need to have some practical steps towards entrepreneurship that you need to understand. You need to, most importantly, you need to get clear on your vision. What do you want to do in the automotive space? Is that repair, custom work, performance, detailing? It sounds like you're kind of stuck in the void, and that's okay. You're starting. That's where I want you to be. But I need you to get clear on these things. You need to start small, but you need to start now. Can you flip a car? Can you flip motorcycles? Can you offer mobile service like oil changes or detailing somewhere? Can you partner with someone who has a garage and start learning the business? And while you're doing that, can you document your journey using maybe social media to share some of the things that you're doing in order to build credibility with future clients? Even if right now you're just learning. Because people love to find somebody who is in their journey and to see them progress, to be like, oh, wow, this person is self-taught and they know so much. And I can see that journey happening. And that's okay that you're stuck. That's okay that you're not even stuck. That's okay that you're starting. Because everyone at any point had to start. We only see the successes in hindsight. Obviously, Mark Zuckerberg was going to be able to make Facebook work. Obviously, Elon Musk was going to make Tesla freaking every other damn thing he's doing.
Yeah.
Obviously, Bezos was going to make Amazon work. But there was a time that Facebook was just two guys in a dorm who were trying to rate how hot the girls of their college class was. There was a time that Amazon was just a guy out of his garage in Seattle selling books. We don't know what path it's going to take, but it takes getting started. It takes working extra hard every single day until you get there.
Yeah.
So I want to give you a little bit of financial advice that might be helpful. But first, Dominic, do you have a point there?
I just wanted to just right as you were mentioning like legendary entrepreneurs, right? One thing that you'll learn about being an entrepreneur is you can't let the lack of money stop you from accomplishing your idea. You can't let anything stand in your way of accomplishing your idea. Nothing. Nothing. If this is your creative vision, like Chris said, and just ruthlessly focus in on it. Ruthlessly. Elon Musk is very ruthless like this. I learned from him that, how he makes his decisions is, will this get us closer to a multi-planetary species, life on Mars, or not? If it's yes, let's continue. If it's no, no, right? The lack of money for starting, right? I totally understand. We've all been there, right? But there's going to be times in your journey as an entrepreneur where you're going to be broke. You're going to have nothing. Like everything will fail and you'll rebound and you'll fail again, right? It's the cycle of things, right? Expect it to be painful. Expect it to just burn in an embarrassing fashion, right? But you've been blessed with the ability to take that risk. Most people aren't able to take the stress of being an entrepreneur, honestly. The public embarrassment, the pain, the late nights, the early mornings, the constant emails. I mean, you're going on vacation and still worrying, right? So don't let this not having enough money to start, that's like the simplest problem I can think of. I can think of 10 different ways to come up with some funding, right? So don't get stuck on that. There's so many. I don't know where you're located, but a lot of cities will offer like small business loans with like very little or no interest. Go to these like entrepreneurial meetups. I went to one a couple weeks ago. Very insightful, right? The city wants to help you. The banks want to help you. People want to help you, right? So you're not alone in this fight, but I want to pass it back to Chris because I know you've got a ton of knowledge to drop on him as well.
Yeah, I'd love to give him some financial advice that isn't going to be like I'm just being a buzzkill when it comes to it. Yeah. And with that being said, is what I would like you to do is, I know you just lost your job, is try to find a bridge job. Try to pick something up that's flexible, that pays the bills, but doesn't drain you enough that you can't start something else. I want you to start buying yourself time and build yourself energy to build something on the side. I know there's a lot of people out in the entrepreneurial space that say you need to burn all the bridges, you need to go 100% into this idea. But like Dominic said, and what I've experienced in my entrepreneurial journey, is you will fall into setback after setback after setback. It was Winston Churchill that once said that success is going from failure to failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm. And if you are dependent on how am I going to survive, how am I going to pay my bills next month, that enthusiasm is very hard to keep. So that's why I'm not the guy who says burn all the bridges and go 100% into your job or to your career, to your side hustle. If it works, wonderful. But for 99% of people that it doesn't work for, there is one success. And you only hear about that one success, not about the 99% of people that fail. So being able to have that other job, that bridge job, is the thing that allows you to stay in the game when you lose, when you get kicked in the teeth. You're able to continue fighting. With that being said, in addition to that, you need to track your spending ruthlessly. You need to know exactly how much money is going in and exactly how much money is going out and where it is going out. And you need to cut ruthlessly in order to ensure that you are trying to keep your expenses as low as you can. Because it's all just an equation of how much money you make minus how much money you spend. Ideally, we're making as much money as we possibly can. That's the goal. But until that happens, you need to be ruthless on how much you're spending. Because if you can make your spending very, very low, that gives you so much more room to continue to try to grow. Because it's just a reiteration game of you going longer and longer and longer. The longer you try, the more you fail, the higher the chances of success are. I wish I could tell you exactly what to do to knock it out of the park the first time. If I knew that, I wouldn't be we'd be probably having a very different podcast. That's just not the way that the world works. I wish I could tell you that. There are people out there that tell you, I know the path, just have to follow this system. They know the path that worked for them. In their time, in their situation, with their personality, with the situation they found themselves in the time frame they found themselves in. You are in a different time, I guarantee it. You never step into the same river twice. That includes yourself. Because you are different, the river is different, everything is different. You also need to stack your skills, not just cash. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you need to learn sales, customer service, basic accountings, and these are going to pay off far more than the money will in the early stages. But being good with the money and being good with the skills, that's what's going to get you to the next part of the journey. That's what's going to get you from being where you are now to being able to run a company without all the stress, without being able to do that, without having to constantly be concerned. With that being said, we should also talk about connections and mentorship. I know that you just lost a job, so you're probably like, I don't want to find mentors. I can do this on my own. I guarantee you, you cannot. It was Arnold Schwarzenegger that said, you can call me anything you want, but you can't call me a self-made man. Arnold Schwarzenegger realized for all the things he's done, governor, actor, bodybuilder,
investor,
none of those, investor.
He was a great real estate investor too. People don't know this. People don't know this.
That's how he made his money before he became an actor. All of those things. And he still says he is not a self-made man. There are people that took risks on him. Even if you had no one growing up, someone took care of you from the age of 0 to about 5. After that, maybe you took care of yourself. Maybe you can say you were raised by wolves, maybe something. But even there, somebody took care of you. No one is self-made in this world. No one comes into this world alone. No one leaves this world alone. Find people who are a few steps ahead of you. So that means DM local shop owners. Go to car meetups. I don't know. Ask questions. People love to help people. And like Dominic said, you also need to take their information with a grain of salt. You need to be a scientist. You need to take the information, apply it to your life, see if it holds up. You have a thesis, you test the thesis. If the thesis holds, we continue with the thesis. We continue running that over and over and over again. This is the physics of progress. This is the empirical method of becoming good in business. And in order to do that, in order to find mentor, you need to offer value before you ask for help. So can you help the shop owners with cleaning, social media, I don't know, just grunt work in exchange for learning? Too many people think, why should I even go ahead and put work into something if I'm not getting something out of it? If I'm not getting paid what I'm due, then what's worth it? What's better for you? Having more money or having the knowledge to make substantially more money in the long run? You are at the age, 21 years old, where you need to fail. You need to suffer. You need to try your best. Because if you make the hard choices today, you will set yourself up for an easy life. But if you do what everyone else does, when you look for the easy choices today, you set yourself up for a hard life. So I want to give you some real talk before we close out today. Most likely, you won't get rich fast. But you can build a life you own if you are consistent. Knowledge is often not the issue. It's consistency. It's boring. It's hard. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Start messy, beats not getting started every time. And also know that you're not alone. There are a lot of people that feel exactly the way that you want. Just most people won't admit it, and even bigger than won't admit it, they won't take action on it. Because there's a lot of people that will admit it, they'll talk, they'll bitch, they'll complain, but most people won't actually do something with it. And it sounds to me like you're the kind of person that will. So go out, succeed, fail forward, and eventually you will find the success that you have always wanted in your life, probably even more. It may not be exactly where you want to be, but it will be better than where you are now. You'll be able to look back on the journey and be like, wow, this took a lot of twists and turns, but I'm so happy where I am. And if you're not at that point, keep on going.
I love that. I love that. That's beautiful. Yeah, that is some good stuff. We wish you the best of luck on your new journey for what it will make of you. And man, the entrepreneurial journey makes a man out of you.
This video podcast is sponsored by Monzon Wealth. The content in this podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered financial advice. We do not endorse specific products or services. Past performance does not guarantee future results. The opinions expressed are those of the host and guests, not the podcast sponsor.
It is crucial to consult with a qualified financial advisor or professional who can provide advice tailored to your specific needs before making any financial decisions, investments, or taking any other actions. If you are seeking specified help, you can reach out to Chris at monzonwealth.com.